Well, I got to be honest with you guys. I definitely have pissed off a whole lot of people in my part of the world. It's kind of awkward these days in the Dollar General. I try to avoid eye contact. But the funny thing is, I grew up with these people. We lived together, lived around each other, grew up together, went to school together. They used to come out and watch me play in the bars and have a beer with me, and other extracurricular activities we're not allowed to talk about here on YouTube. And then they would sober up and go to church the next day, and because they did that, they got a pass for the night before, and Brando was still the devil himself. But that's another story. It's just funny to me, though, how that people in my part of the world gets mad when someone like me rocks the boat and challenges the way that we were taught to believe. Because we all were taught that stuff. All of us were. Some of us just saw through it and some didn't. And it's funny to me the people who they will latch onto and listen to and not listen to one of their own. That baffles me. It baffles me that people would boycott an artist like Tyler Childers and listen to a poser like Kid Rock. It's crazy to me that people would discredit Jason Isbell, who's the greatest songwriter of our generation, and yet they would go watch a draft dodger like Ted Nugent who shit his pants to get out of Vietnam. I don't understand their logic at all, and I sure don't understand why in the hell that they would listen to someone like Jesse Waters on Fox News. Jesse Waters is their safe space for when people like Brando pisses them off. They can run to Jesse Waters, and he'll tell them what they want to hear. And he's another guy who has no idea what it's like to live in their world. And if you want Exhibit A as to how he don't know what the hell's going on in this country, take a look at this.
If you're making $20 an hour to work at a fast food restaurant, all right, is that six figures? Are you making?
No. 40 grand. 40 grand.
50 is just two exits and add a few zeros.
Yeah. Okay, so
40K a year.
Okay,
full time.
40K a year.
Yeah.
So, and then if your husband or wife is also there, you're making $100,000 as a family.
Sure.
Both working at McDonald's.
80 grand. 80 grand.
That is okay. That's crazy. That is crazy. Because that job really doesn't require much. So it's inflating the entire, labor sector.
And the Happy Meal.
And the Happy Meal.
Unhappy, very unhappy.
Which I'm very unhappy about.
Okay, first of all, it's painfully embarrassing just how bad at math he is. And I know for a fact that PBD is not that stupid. And I'm sure he was sitting there thinking in the back of his mind, oh my God, like I'm trying to have an intelligent conversation with this guy, or appear to be. And this guy is that far off the mark. I mean, you don't have to have even finished grade school in my part of the world to know that if you're making $20 an hour, you're not making six figures. And even if your spouse or your girlfriend is going to work with you, you're still not making six figures together. And it just shows you how out of touch with reality people like Jesse Waters is, to say that, fast food, that doesn't require much. What a piece of shit, really, to say that. Because I promise you, someone like Jesse Waters wouldn't last 5 minutes in someone's world who was working at a McDonald's for minimum wage and paying their bills. There's no way he could do it. That guy would crumble in a heartbeat. But you guys go ahead and listen to him if he makes you feel better. I'm just being real about it. That dude is not one of us. He never was one of us. He never will be one of us. And you can get mad at me all day long and say that I'm some sort of Judas Iscariot. But sometimes you got to say to yourself, wait a minute, is this guy really a communist traitor, or could he just be pointing out the obvious? Because Jesse Waters is nothing but fear and propaganda, and he really sucks at math. And he also really seems to have a crush on Gavin Newsom. And I think I know why, but I want you to see this clip of him talking about Gavin Newsom, and then we're going to talk more about this.
But I believe Gavin Newsom will be president one day. The man is smooth. He's already currying up to the Republican side. You saw him go on Hannity. He dive-bombed a couple of Fox News events. He's savvy. And I think a lot of people are underestimating him. He had no facts on his side when he debated DeSantis. And he held his own. I mean, I think he lost, but he held his own. Yeah. And he has a lot of bad facts. So I think he's a real threat. He's got good hair.
Very good hair.
He's tall. Got a nice looking family, a lot of California cash. He owns a vineyard. He sends people bottles of wine that he's trying to grease. Oh. I mean, he could be a problem.
But I tell you one thing.
Unless Barron Trump runs for president.
But we got to wait 17 years for that, right?
Okay, before we get to the obvious crush that Jesse Waters has on Gavin Newsom, can you believe they're sitting there saying, in 17 years we can vote for Barron Trump? It's a cult, folks. It truly is. The fact that they're sitting there rooting for his youngest son to grow up so he can run for president is absolute bullshit and it's total hypocrisy, because I can't count the times in my life that I've had conversations with people in my part of the world who have sat and put down every Kennedy, well, except for RFK Jr., they got a hard on for him these days, but they would sit and put down every Kennedy in the world. Oh, they ain't got no experience. They were just born into it, man. And I know so many people in my part of the world that has a problem with people being born into something, and yet they're sitting back waiting for Baron Trump to be old enough to run for president. And they're telling you they don't care if he has any experience. They're telling you that they don't care if he doesn't know shit from apple butter, his hind end from a hole in the ground. They're telling you that. They're saying, hey, just let him grow up, and as long as he's got Trump's name, we'll vote for it. It just goes to show how that they're the ones with the true Trump derangement syndrome. But now back to Jesse Waters and his obvious crush on Gavin Newsom. Do you know why he's talking that way about Gavin Newsom? Because he's wanting a Gavin Newsom presidency. It's exactly what he wants, because, man, they can shift then to, oh, he's going to make California, he's going to make the rest of the world like California, oh, and they can go to every talking point. Gavin Newsom fits every talking point that they've been spewing. And I do believe he will be president too. I honestly do. I think he could be a future president. And they want him to be, because they want that boogeyman to run on. The fear and the propaganda that they can push because of Gavin Newsom, they're going to love it. They're going to have a field day. Jesse Waters is sitting back waiting for this to all end so he can jump on that. And he's probably already started. He's already started going down the rabbit hole of let's bash Gavin Newsom. Let's set the stage for that. That's why, if you'll notice, during Barack Obama's second term, they stopped talking about Obama. They really stopped. They stopped talking about all the fear-mongering with Obama, and they shifted to Hillary Clinton. And it was all Benghazi and how awful Hillary was, because they knew Hillary was getting in line to run. And so they had to turn all their fear and their loathing over to Hillary Clinton. And that's what they're doing right now with Gavin Newsom, because they can see him coming and they're getting prepared. But deep down, they want it to happen, because they know when it does, they're going to have a plethora of material that they can pull from and continue to push and spew their propaganda. But getting back to people in my part of the world that are mad at me for the things I say, what's hilarious is they'll sit and listen to Jesse Waters, and his own mother called him out to his face. And this is one of my favorite clips ever. Check this out.
We have a very special guest on the line, a Democrat, my mom. Mom?
Hello there, Jesse.
Hello there, Mom. How have you enjoyed the show so far?
I have enjoyed the show. I want to say congratulations, Honey Bun. We are so proud of you and your accomplishments, and you've worked so hard. Now let's aim to have you keep your job. And to that end, I do have some suggestions.
Okay.
Do not tumble into any conspiracy rabbit holes. We do not want to lose you, and we want no lawsuits.
Okay.
In keeping, I have a list here. In keeping with the Hippocratic Oath, do no harm. We need you to be kind and respectful. You yourself mentioned that humble is a stretch, so I get that. Use your voice responsibly to promote conversation that maintains a narrative thread. There really has been enough Biden bashing, and the laptop is old. Perhaps you could suggest that your people take less interest, for example, in other people's bodies, and talk about that.
That is absolute pure comedic gold. I could watch that over and over. There are writers out there who dream of writing something that priceless. But what's so funny about that clip to me is I know so many people in my part of the world are mad at me and they're upset at me, and I get hate mail all the time. But for every piece of hate mail that I get, I also get a message from their mothers telling me, Brando, I'm really trying to get through to my son. I'm really trying to get through to my daughter. I'm really trying to get through to someone in my family. And I send them your videos and they really get upset about it. But I think it's starting to work. So just keep up the good work, Brando. Well, let me tell you something. I'm going to keep sitting here in this chair and we're going to keep calling it out, because I really believe at heart, people in my part of the world, at heart, they're good people. They just got duped into believing a bunch of bullshit because it was popular. And because a lot of them just really couldn't stand the thought of having the hate come at them. To believe the way we believe and to call this bullshit out, you're going to get a lot of hate mail. You're going to get a lot of trolls. You're going to get a lot of dirty looks in the dollar store, okay? You know, the kid that puts the groceries in your car might smash your bread on purpose, just saying. But we're on the right side of history. We really are. And at the end of the day, I love people in my part of the world. I think at the end of the day, they're good-hearted people. They're just misguided. And they've been misguided by people who was trying to grift them and trying to use their culture against them. And that makes me madder than hell. And to sit back and watch Jesse Waters constantly mock and manipulate people in my part of the world when the guy can't even do basic math. He's so out of touch with reality that he has no clue, and he would not last 5 minutes in your world. You guys go ahead. For the people in my part of the world that hates everything I'm saying and hates everything I'm doing, you go right ahead and you listen to him if you want to. But remember one thing, he never walked down a dirt road in his life. He never had a callus on his hands. He never worked an honest day in his life. And there's people right around you that have been struggling right along beside of you that's been saying, hey, look, man, look over here. They're playing us. That's all we're here to say. When people says to me, do you really think you're going to change people's mind? As far as the hardcore people that's already drunk the Kool-Aid, probably not. You know, they'll probably ride the sinking ship down, but somewhere sitting around them is that person going, yeah, I'm just not buying into this. I just don't see it. And if that one person hears what I'm saying and goes, you know what, fuck it. I'm next time I'm at Sunday dinner, I'm calling him out for that shit. Then I've done my job. That's really what I was here to do. I'm just trying to make you think. Jesse Waters is just trying to grift you. Jesse Waters is just trying to take advantage of you, and he goes behind closed doors with his rich buddies and laughs right in your face. So he might make you feel good for a minute, but he's using you at the end of the day.